Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Looney. The stock market and crypto bled today. We're also going to take a look at volatility it was in a weird spot. And my process, I'm going to walk you through some of my plays that I opened up today, some covered calls, and I also want to take a look at some earnings report with Amazon and another stock in my portfolio. But before we dive in, quick shout out to the Discord. It is free to join, and I also offer a premium membership for $8 a month, and it gives you access to one-on-one coaching, trade callouts. I have an option selling course. I do giveaways and more. You can check it out. All the links are in the description. So let's actually first off talk about earnings, and we're going to look at Riot and Amazon. These are two positions I own. I also believe Microsoft reported earnings as well. So let's actually take a look at everything. So Riot today did post earnings, and the overall market did bleed today, and the crypto and this stock was affected by it as well. This at one point was down 5%, and as we talk right now, it's actually in the green. So pretty interesting. Riot actually reported Q3 revenue of about 180 million and EPS of 0.26. So if we actually look at the earnings per share, 0.26, the estimated was negative 0.13. So despite the beat, the stock did pull back in regular hours. So this actually just kind of tells me that the market was affected. And most of the time, Riot doesn't really get concerned with earnings. It is a crypto mining company, so it's more based upon what crypto is doing and the direction of crypto. But also they did go and talk about setting up data centers and going down that route, pretty similar to what Iron is doing. And I'm pretty curious to see what happens with that. And they gave some dates and when they're actually going to set up and finally build these data centers. They're going to continue their crypto mining, but they also mentioned that they will also incorporate data centers and promote power, because power is a currency. So pretty interesting with Riot, one of my biggest positions, and it takes around 31%, and I am up 140%. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is Amazon. This is a stock that I have a very small position in, and I actually rotated some profits into Amazon recently just because I saw the opportunity and I saw that it was undervalued. And this is just objectively, it was undervalued. It wasn't like I saw something that other people didn't see. It was pretty known that Amazon was priced at pretty low values. The PE ratio is pretty low. Same with Google. Google was a good opportunity as well. But you could see that Amazon did jump pretty significant. I'm actually up, or it went up 9%. I'm only up around 274. I only have 4 shares, so not a big position in my portfolio whatsoever, but it is in my portfolio and it is a long-term position. So I do want to at least note it. And it actually had an earnings of 1.95 versus the 1.57 expected. And then also the revenue was 180 billion, which is a 13% increase year over year. So very good performance from Amazon and a mixed emotions from Riot. So actually, I think the other one was Microsoft. I think actually had earnings today. And I used to have Microsoft, but I did sell it just because I thought Amazon was a little bit better of an opportunity. And let's just see. So today it did beat earnings, but despite that, it was down on the day. So you can see here, earnings aren't everything. Beating earnings isn't everything. It's really the guidance and just the overall sentiment or where the stock is priced. It could be that Microsoft is a little overvalued. I'm not too sure. Don't know. I haven't done that much research on Microsoft recently, so I'm not too sure why it went down on the earnings beat. Now, another thing I want to look at is the VIX. I'm always looking at the VIX to decide where I want to be with cash and what I want to be, how I want to be invested. But you can see that for some reason, the VIX was down today, and that's pretty interesting. So while risk is elevated, because we are seeing the market bleed and overall pull back, fear isn't extreme yet. So that could actually be a little concerning. That could say that we are due for further volatility to the downside. And yes, my portfolio is heavily involved in crypto, and VIX isn't necessarily deal with crypto. It does sort of. Crypto and the market do kind of, they don't go hand in hand all the time. But in this scenario, crypto was down and the market was also hit. So pretty interesting to see that VIX wasn't affected, or actually inversely affected. And that's not something you see too often. So although we did see this pullback, there is a chance for more fear. And that's why I'm not going all in. I'm being very cautious. I am monitoring this. And I'll show you guys a trade that I opened up on this. So yeah, let's go on to the next thing. We can see that crypto did dive and it is recovering a little bit. I'm not too concerned of where crypto is day to day. I know some people are on leverage and they get liquidated. We are seeing those liquidations, and that does actually affect the price. Many feel that we're manipulated the prices, and it probably has to do a lot with leverage trading, because it's not, you're not owning anything. So it's pretty interesting to see that we're seeing liquidations and we're seeing big corporations buy crypto, but we are seeing to the downside. And yeah, Bitcoin, I don't necessarily mind if it goes down further. I buy every day. I buy $3 a day. And there is fees with crypto. They actually recently showed it. This is kind of a new feature. So I put around $266 every month. So I get feed around 0.85%. So that's pretty interesting. And the other thing I do want to go over are some trades that I opened up today. So I know I talked about VIX, and that's cash allocation, and overall fear wasn't elevated, but I did open up a trade on Zeta. The reason for this one is because I actually like this stock, and I got a notification that it went below the lower Bollinger Band. So I set up a safe trade, one that is about 2% or a little bit more than, or 2.5%, I believe, of a return if this goes my way or my direction, and Zeta stays above $14, and I'll collect, or I'll net realize that $38 in premium. So pretty interested to see where this ends up, or where Zeta ends up. If it does go to these prices, I'm okay with owning it at 16, 15, and 14. Don't really mind too much owning it at these prices. So like if VIX goes up a little bit, or we are seeing more fear, it's likely that these are actually good prices to get in at. So I'm definitely comfortable owning it at these prices. And this is sort of a trade that I do give to my premium members as soon as I open it. Other than that, I do have some covered calls that are helping me hedge. So if we go to my options, I'm actually up $78 on the day. And I have a few covered calls on Oscar, Mara. I have one on Beyond Meat, which is pretty interesting. I know Beyond Meat has been struggling recently. I actually got in at a pretty good price at $1. So I'm not too concerned of this decline, although it can go further. So I do have covered calls, and I'm collecting those juicy premiums. The premiums are very good on Beyond Meat because it is a very volatile stock. So that is what is coming up in my portfolio. I have some spreads, but really these covered calls are the ones that are helping a lot with this downturn. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. My portfolio is actually recovering a little bit despite being down almost 5% at one point. So what is going on? What is the end close or the summary of everything? Earnings were mixed. We saw Microsoft struggle. We saw Riot sort of struggle. We saw Amazon actually do really well. And then we also saw the market overall was down. With that, crypto was following as well. But I'm still just staying patient, sticking to my strategy, and just being disciplined, because being active doesn't always mean opening up new trades. Sometimes just staying patient, managing what you have, and just using strategies like selling puts or covered calls is the smartest move. All right, that's my update for today. Until next time, peace.